You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. Always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on. Okay. Ukraine has really been out of the news a lot lately. I guess Biden and Pelosi and these corrupt, never-Trumper Republicans got all of their Build Back Better stuff hidden inside of Ukraine relief. So they're not interested in Ukraine anymore since they got all their things packed into that fake relief bill. But there's a big story today out of Ukraine, and this is how wars start. And I know there's already a war going on there. What I mean is American involvement in the war.
Yes.
Okay, 2 Americans have been taken as prisoner of war by Russia in Ukraine. These are the first American prisoners of war. They were taken prisoner by Russian forces last week, according to sources. And
and this
is the first time here. Well, we'll get to all that stuff.
Because they shouldn't be there, first of all.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there.
They're both from Alabama, these American prisoners of war held by Russia. It's unclear if they were friends before they traveled, it says voluntarily, to Ukraine earlier this year, to assist Ukrainian forces as they continue to defend their country against Russian forces. One of the men's comrades described losing sight of the pair in battle last week. The pair were part of a 10-man squad when they were ambushed by Russian soldiers, according to one of their comrades. We were out on a mission, and the whole thing went absolutely crazy with bad intel. We were told the town was cleared when it turned out the Russians were already assaulting it. They came down the road with tanks, armored fighting vehicles, and about 100 Russian infantry. The only thing that was there was our 10-man squad. The 2 Americans disabled a Russian tank with a grenade, but were lost in the fog of return fire. By the time it cleared, they had vanished. One of the American prisoners of war served in the U.S. Army in Iraq. The other is a former Marine, although once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. Right. There's no such thing as a former Marine. He's never been in active combat before. He went to Ukraine in April, and this is the first I'm hearing about this. The State Department said today it was aware of reports of their capture, but a spokesman declined to comment, citing privacy concerns. The Secretary of Defense, this idiot moron Secretary of Defense we have, Austin and Milley, did not comment. We suspect that they were knocked unconscious by an anti-tank mine or by the tank shooting at them because later search missions found no signs of them. Afterwards, we sent up drones to the Ukrainians. Afterwards, we sent drones up and had a Ukrainian search team on the ground but found nothing. If they had been hit by the tank shell, there would have been remains or equipment. Nothing was found. Russian forces claimed that night to have captured 2 Americans. The mother of one of the Americans in Alabama told the media she's in contact with the government and hopes they'll secure her son's release. Yeah. The U.S. Embassy have assured me they're doing everything they can to find him. And it goes on. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't buy this story that these 2 guys just left Alabama and went to Ukraine and are fighting with the Ukrainian army, okay? It's not that easy to get there. This is what's going on. The Ukrainians have been pretty successful against the Russians, and the reason they've been successful against the Russians is they've been getting intel from the United States, satellites, planes, whatever it is. We've been giving them target information.
They're helping them on the down low.
Yeah. And, excuse me, and what happens a lot of times, we've had forces on the ground in Ukraine for weeks. There have been U.S. Special Forces reported over there that have been helping the Ukrainians against the Russians. And these guys are probably part of a CIA or Pentagon black op operation to get experienced U.S. fighters over there because the Ukrainian army is very small. It's kind of new. They got a lot of civilians turned soldiers. Even though this one guy, they say, has never been in combat, every Marine is a trained rifleman. So the other guy had been in combat in Iraq, so they've got training that they can pass along. these aren't just two guys from Alabama, a couple of yahoos who went over there. We have U.S. forces on the ground. They may be doing this if you guys remember, I remember in the 80s in Latin America, there was an American pilot captured, and it turned out he was a CIA operative who was doing missions down in Central America. This is what goes on, and Biden is getting us deeper and deeper in this war in Russia and Ukraine for no reason other than corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big money grab by Washington. They got their whole Build Back Better passed through the fake Ukrainian funding, and we're going to get deeper and deeper in this. And this country's a wreck, and Biden's going to get us deeper and deeper and more involved in.
Well, you always said a
Russia-Ukraine war.
A wartime president always gets reelected.
No president has lost re-election in time of war, but this is like a secret thing they're doing. Biden has all his corrupt dealings in Ukraine, so he's got a lot riding on Ukraine. This isn't like Iraq or Afghanistan with Bush. That was a bunch of corruption going on there too. But this is different, and
whatever is going on, if Biden's involved, it's corrupt.
Oh yeah,
it's crooked. It's interesting because I was talking to my brother today. I usually don't like to discuss politics.
Yeah,
he's not a fan of Trump.
No,
he watches Rachel Maddow and MSNBC all day. But he did say something interesting. He said, we were talking about the inflation and all this stuff going on, and he said Biden lacks leadership because he doesn't know when to fire somebody, and he refuses to fire people that are ineffective, like Janet Yellen.
That's ridiculous analysis.
And why?
That Biden needs to fire himself. He's the idiot.
No, but I understand.
That's not Biden's
problem. But what he's
problem.
saying is, no, but that's part of his problem. He's saying he has to be able to admit when somebody's not working, not doing their job, not doing what's best for the American people, and fire them and bring in somebody else. And I said, well, he will never do that because he can never admit he's wrong.
Yeah.
He said, well, that's a lack of leadership. Good leaders can admit when they're wrong and admit when they have to replace somebody. And I said, well, he will never do that because if he replaces somebody, he's saying to the world, I screwed up, and he's incapable of humility. He's incapable of admitting that this person has to go. And like Janet Yellen, he's to fire her. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Nobody around him knows what they're doing.
Including
him. He's never going to, I understand that, but he's not going to fire himself. But instead of replacing her with somebody who can actually fix the problem, he will keep her in there because he will never admit he made a mistake. And I agree with my brother that a true leader can admit when how many people did Trump fire? Mm-hmm. Many, because they weren't doing what he wanted. He had no problem firing these people. He didn't look at it as it was a stain on him.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not doing what I want. Boom, you're gone. But Biden won't fire anybody because he's afraid, I think, that people will look at him as a failure.
Well, the thing with Biden, okay,
and he is a failure.
Biden isn't in this to be a leader. Biden, people run for president to become president for different reasons.
I know, but he thinks he is.
Most of them run for president to better themselves, or like Bill Clinton, they get as far as they can there. Someone tells them they can do it, they can win it. The only person that I know of ever that's run for president for all the right reasons is Donald Trump.
I agree.
Followed by Ronald Reagan. But Biden doesn't care about Yellen. He doesn't care about this. All Biden cares about are his corrupt deals. He doesn't care about a legacy.
You don't think he cares that his I know at first, but his approval's in the toilet.
Nope,
they just
care.
had a seat in Texas, a blue seat, overturned. They just had the first Mexican House member now is a Republican. She's a Trump person, turned over a blue seat. They just had a 5-term congressman lost to a Trump person. You don't think that's bothering Washington enough where they're putting so much pressure on him to fix what's going on?
I'll tell you why he doesn't care.
Well, they're going to make him care.
There's a couple reasons he doesn't care. All he cares are about these backroom deals, okay, that he's making, that his family's getting rich on, okay? That's his primary thing. And because he spent 50 years in the Senate, if Congress is doing well in the opinion polls, they have like a 25% approval. Congress has like 12% approval all the time. He doesn't care about public opinion because his entire life in the Senate, he had low opinion polls. and he went on,
so they're used
and
to
look
it.
where he's at now. He doesn't care.
No, I know he might not care, but I'm saying the party cares.
Oh, the party,
because they're all going to lose their jobs.
The party does care.
So
yes.
you cannot tell me now, unless he is so isolated, which I've always felt is true. I feel that he's very isolated. But people in Washington have got to be getting through to him and telling him, we're going to lose everything because of your policies. But I don't think he's going to change a thing. I don't think he's going to do anything about inflation. He's not going to do anything about the gas prices.
Nope.
He's not. Look at the baby formula shortage. He did nothing about that. Nothing about anything. He just sits back and does absolutely nothing because you're right. All he's concerned about is making his deals. That is his main focus and enriching his family. But I do agree with my point with what my brother was saying is a true leader like Trump will fire people and have no problem firing people and not view it as a reflection of their failures, because Trump fires everybody because he doesn't like what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't see that as a personal failure. He has the ability to say, you're not doing what I want, you're gone. I'm going to bring in somebody else who's going to fix this problem. But Biden is not capable of that because he can never admit he's made a mistake. Yeah. So he will never budge. He's stubborn. He will never budge and say, all right, these people, I don't understand. I know he's made deals or whatever you want to say, but I don't understand. I've never seen a president so out of touch. I mean, he's constantly touting how great the economy is, how wonderful people are doing. He's like in Bizarro world. Yeah. It's the exact opposite. Does he really believe this is what's happening? Is he being lied to and being told different stories than what are people going to him and saying everything's great, everything's wonderful, nothing to see here? Or is he just pathological? Or is he deluding himself? I can't figure out what this guy's problem is. How can he go on TV? Even, other presidents would say, I understand you're struggling. I understand you're dealing with high gas price. He's like totally checked out. Like he doesn't even acknowledge this is going on. No. I've never seen anything like it. Everything's fine here. And we're all hunky-dory.
All the problems
bizarre
that the country's faced since he's been in office, he hasn't done anything about it. He lets them work themselves out.
He doesn't even acknowledge them.
No.
that's
you know what?
Strange.
He never will.
No.
Now,
exactly.
This is, poor Herschel Walker. They're going after Herschel Walker.
Oh, yeah. And Lauren Boebert.
Oh, yeah. Well, save that one. Let's talk about Herschel Walker first. Herschel Walker is being slandered here. And there's a press story about him that is so misleading. And before I get to this, see, Herschel Walker, being a black conservative, is a threat beyond imagination to the left and to the political establishment. They do, when someone's a black conservative and they're popular and liked by everyone like Herschel Walker, they're afraid they're going to lose even more black support, and they panic and they go out to destroy these people, like with Sarah Palin, because she's a woman and popular and a Republican. So this is in the Daily Mail. GOP Senate nominee Herschel Walker, a critic of absentee fathers, is slammed as a hypocrite after admitting he has a secret 10-year-old son who he's estranged from. Now, I'm going to read the story, but he's not a deadbeat dad. He talks about deadbeat dads and absentee fathers. I get it. Right. He financially supports this child. And so far as him not being in the child's life, I'll read this story. Maybe the mother doesn't want it. Maybe she's got a man in her life and doesn't want Herschel around, but he is financially supporting this child. This is not like a deadbeat absentee father here, okay? Let me read through this story. Maybe we'll pick up some more information. Herschel Walker, the Republican nominee for Senate from Georgia, who has previously criticized absentee fathers in black communities, is being accused of hypocrisy after it was revealed that he has had a secret estranged son. Former NFL star turned politician Walker was sued by the boy's mother for child support in 2013 when the son was just 2 years old, the Daily Beast reports. The court made a declaration of paternity, and Walker was ordered to pay child support. While the boy took his last name, Walker's son, who has not been publicly named, has grown up more than 1,500 miles from Herschel Walker's home. The shocking revelation was made as Walker, a critic of fathers who abandon their children, prepares to face Senator Warnock, a Democrat, in November. During Herschel Walker's campaign speeches and interviews, He's often proudly spoken about his oldest son, 22-year-old Christian, who he co-parented with his ex and current wife. But there was never any mention of another child. Instead, Herschel Walker has been known to take a stand against fatherless households, particularly in the black community, stating in a 2020 interview that if you have a child with a woman, even if you have to leave the woman, you don't leave that child. Now Walker is being slammed as a hypocrite.
It's a bit hypocritical.
Herschel Walker's out there lecturing black men on fatherhood and ain't seen his kid since Obama's first term is one tweet. Herschel
Look,
Walker.
I like Herschel, but there's more ways to abandon your kid than just financially. It's a bit hypocritical, but I don't know the circumstances.
No, I don't know about that at all.
I don't think there's any excuse for a father not to see his child,
let me
especially
finish
if
the
he's
article.
10 years old.
Let me finish. Maybe see if we can pick up some more stuff here, okay? Herschel Walker's campaign manager, Scott Paradise, what a weird name that is, Paradise, told the Daily Mail that Herschel Walker supports the child and is proud of all of his children. Herschel had a child years ago when he was not married. He supported the child and continues to do so. He's proud of his children. To suggest that Herschel is hiding the child because he hasn't used him in political campaigns is offensive and absurd. Paradise also pointed that Walker's opponent is currently engaged in a mudslinging campaign. Yeah, because she's desperate, and Warnock is dealing with a custody dispute of his own with his ex-wife. See, he's got his ex-wife coming out of him. Mm-hmm. They're all desperate here.
Well, I think people should still vote for him.
He's trying to change his child support payment. He's in court with his wife, doing this.
I'd like to know more about it. I'd like to know why he hasn't seen his son. I would like to know why. I think he needs to explain that, considering the fact that he has discussed this publicly and criticized fathers who don't see their children, and then he's hiding this.
I don't know that he's hiding it. Listen.
I didn't know about it. You didn't know about it.
This is, you know what? I don't even know what team Herschel Walker played for. Okay, I know who Herschel Walker is. I don't even know what football team he was on. Okay,
well,
I know who he is. He's very famous, and I know Trump likes him and is behind him. That's all I need to know. My guess would be.
No, I think you should vote for him, but I'd like to know more.
My guess will be. Listen. All of a sudden, the press have this standard of protecting the privacy of this child and his family, and they're not telling us any details about it. The press don't care, okay? They have no morals.
Of course.
The press are not telling us anything about this child and their mother because it doesn't fit the narrative of the headline.
Yeah.
My guess would be either the mother is in a relationship or is married, doesn't want him around, or she just doesn't want him around, you know what I mean, and has her own life going on, and maybe she doesn't have a man in her life, but he's doing the right thing. And so far as a paternity thing, there's nothing wrong with that. He rich, famous guy, a woman says, we've had a baby together, and they had a paternity thing. That's normal.
Okay, so how would you feel if Trump had a kid out of wedlock?
Depends on the situation.
That he supported financially but did not have a relationship with.
It depends on the situation.
That wouldn't bother. You're a father. Come on, Brian.
If the mother didn't want him around, I would understand. Yeah,
I don't think that's an excuse. I really don't. I'm sorry. I know deep down you don't either.
I know. No. You're calling me a liar, Kathy.
No, but I don't think you're being honest about this.
They're not giving us enough information. The press. They say they're protecting the child and the mother. Come on. They're not. There's something about this they don't want us to know.
We'll see what comes
and hopefully it'll come out. But you know what? I don't care. No,
I agree. People should still vote for him.
You should do, even if the worst accusation about
it's
this
his personal life.
Yeah.
If they can forgive Bill Clinton for screwing around, they can forgive this. It's a personal thing. It's none of our business. That's how I feel.
Even if the worst is true about this situation, you should still do what President Trump says and vote for Herschel Walker.
I agree.
And not for this creepy guy.
Well, I want to talk about Lauren Boebert because the same people...
now what's going on with her?
Okay, the same people that took down Madison Cawthorn, or he really kind of did it to himself, but the people that were behind the release of these videos of him doing crazy, kooky things, said that they were going to target Lauren Boebert next. And I think it's a Republican super PAC. They want to get rid of the Trump people. I don't think it's even Democrats, it's Republicans. And now they're spreading a rumor, but I read an article today that it's been completely debunked, basically. And they've been spreading now, this is just the rumor here, I'm not saying this, and liberals are spreading this too. Liberals, this is from the Daily Beast. Liberals rush to spread bogus Lauren Boebert escort and abortion rumors. Democrats have seized on a political action committee's allegations that Boebert worked as a prostitute and had multiple abortions, claims that rest on zero actual evidence. So they've been spreading this on Twitter over and over again. But they said here, and this is what I'm saying, the difference between this is Madison Cawthorn, they actually had photographs and video. And with her, they have zero. She debunks, she says, not true. But they have zero evidence. They have no photographs, nothing. It's just a claim they're making about her. It's a rumor. She said they're lying. It's nothing true. So unless they come out with any kind of proof, has no legs. It's not going to go anywhere. With Madison Cawthorn, they had video, pictures, that, a visual is very damaging. With her, this is going to go in one ear and out the other unless they have actual proof. Now, from what I was told, there's a connection with Ted Cruz. That Ted Cruz, this is the rumor, knew her when she was an escort.
Oh, please.
And introduced her.
She was not an escort.
It was his idea. This is the rumor. His idea for her to run for Congress.
Oh, so Ted
he helped raise money for her.
So slow down.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
So they think, this is what these liberals.
It's as crazy as the Russian dossier.
So these liberals think that Ted Cruz knew Lauren Boebert as a prostitute.
Yeah.
And thought it was a good idea for this prostitute to run for. Give me a break.
It's crazy. That's the rumor that he's connected to her. But again, she said it's not true. I don't think Ted Cruz would be that stupid. And there's no photos, no tweets, no letters, no nothing.
This
will go nowhere. I mean, look at all the crazy things they said about Trump with zero proof.
Yeah.
So, they're just
that's what they do.
More fake news.
That's what they do. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. All right? Don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this.
Ohana. It means family in Hawaiian. It has a family-owned business on the big island of Hawaii. Miracle Botanicals takes pride in sharing their aloha spirit and island-style approach through their high-quality products. They carry essential oils, scented hydrosol sprays, and resins that are all made from the finest ingredients. Miracle Botanicals prioritize purity and quality in all their products and infuse everything they do with amazing fragrances and lots of love. When human beings connect with plants, and specifically with their essential oils, we receive biological messages that remind us how to be released from pain, tension, and conflict. All of the essential oils and carrier oils that come from Miracle Botanicals are carefully hand-selected by their family, specifically for you. Find them online at miraclebotanicals.com. That's miraclebotanicals.com. Are your pants falling down? There is a solution. Skinny Clip, available on Amazon and skinnyclip.com. Belts are bulky, uncomfortable, and expensive. Skinny Clip replaces the belt. Skinny Clip is an easy-to-use waistband tightener for men and women. It can easily work to tighten a belt on pants that are too loose. Skinny Clip tightens your pants without a belt. Maybe you lost some weight and you don't want to buy a new wardrobe. Maybe someone gave you clothes that you love, but they're a little too big. Skinny Clip can make them fit just right. Skinny Clip is a newly patented invention that holds up oversized pants easily and comfortably. It's easy to use too. Simply slide your waistband, twist, and hook. That's it. It works great on all types of fabric, skirts, slacks, jeans, and shorts. It's perfect for blue jeans that loosen up during the day. It's affordable and available in multiple colors. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Skinny Clip, when you're skinny for yourself. Skinny Clip is available on Amazon. Just search Skinny Clip or visit the website skinnyclip.com. Are you looking for a memorable Father's Day gift for your dad or husband? The new book from author M.J. Connor. M, available on Amazon, is the perfect gift that the father in your life will love to read. In M, meet Justin Roberts. He's a doctoral student, an expert in Hitler's National Socialism. Justin discovers a mysterious World War II journal smuggled out of East Germany. Inside, the author ingeniously inserted a coded message meant only for the free West. He enlists the help of a secret network of Cold War spies to solve solve the code and decipher the message, the stakes are raised when Justin receives a startling warning. He flees and is pursued by an assassin in a heart-stopping race for survival. When Justin's solution is later questioned, he elicits help from pharmacist Dr. Angela Keenan. In a shocking twist, their stories converge, and a plot to create a power vacuum in the United States government is uncovered. With only a few hours before the coup, Angela and Justin must escape the assassin and save the victims. What happens next is thrilling and heart-pounding. M, from author M.J. Connor, is available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. This is a great gift for Father's Day. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Broadcasting from sunny South Florida, Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. So, Steve Bannon is in the news today. I love Steve Bannon. He's awesome. And Steve Bannon claims that the January 6th committee, they canceled their hearings because the ratings stink.
Oh, yes.
And then Bannon went on to say MAGA will govern for 100 years when they win 100 seats in November. Okay.
Oh, it's going to be a red wave.
Let me tell you what's going on here, okay? The January 6th committee chairman cleared Trump day before yesterday. He said there's not going to be any criminal referrals, which means they got nothing. They've been exposed. And notice how quickly the January 6th committee, after all this hype, disappeared from the news. And
Liz Cheney is very distraught over this.
You know, when a lot of people don't remember this, okay, what it was about, but when there was that contract for America with Newt Gingrich and the Republicans took over the House and Senate with Newt Gingrich as Speaker of the House and Bob Dole was the Republican majority leader. That was the first time that the Republicans had controlled both houses of Congress for about 40 years. And after FDR, the Democrats just were embedded.
Who was president then?
Bill Clinton. It was in 94. And that was the first time Republicans had controlled both houses of Congress in 40 years. It was amazing. A big deal.
Yeah, I remember
And that had a lot to do with the Depression and then the Second World War and JFK and stuff.
That's really remarkable. It took that long.
It's crazy.
But, you know, you're right. With FDR and the Democrat and JFK, the Democrats were on a big upswing.
That's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And what's going on in America is terrible. I saw a guy on Twitter today. He was at a gas station. He saw this old man in a van, and he saw he was putting gas in his car, and he didn't have enough money to fill it up, and he bought the man gas, you know? Nice. And he said the guy was like crying.
Oh, my
And that's a big give because gas is so expensive right now. And
that's a nice thing to do.
You know, this country is a wreck, and it's going to get worse. It is going to get much, much worse. There's going to be some stability brought back in after the Republicans take over both houses of Congress because it'll show that the nation is together. We just got to ride out the term of this senile old coot that's running America and the world into the ground. But, you know, this inflation is not just in the United States. This is a global inflation period we're in right now, and it's all because of Biden. And Biden is going to end up doing us a great big favor, even though we're all suffering right now. And that favor is what Steve Bannon is talking about. The Republican Party, you know, by the time when Trump comes in, what do you guys think about this now? When Trump comes in 2024, this is our first, you know, election in November after Trump's first term, right? So we got the entire House that's up. So we're going to get a lot of MAGA people in the House. 1/3 of the Senate is up. When Trump comes back in 2024, I mean, you know, even people that hate Trump are begging Trump to run now because they're suffering. Trump comes back in 2024, the entire House is up again because they're up every 2 years. So we're going to even gain more MAGA Republicans and get rid of some of these traitorous Republicans. Another third of the Senate will be up. We're going to get more MAGA senators.
He's totally reshaping politics.
And what's going to happen here,
he really is.
I don't know if it'll be 100 years because, you know, people have short memories, but we're going to have a period of 20, 40, 50 years of very strong MAGA
I think so.
governance because Biden is so bad. You know, This country that Donald Trump handed over to Biden was perfect. Even with the COVID, we had
think
a
about
booming economy,
right?
Gas prices
Things weren't
were
this bad during COVID.
No.
We went through a pandemic where the country shut down.
The whole world shut down.
And things were not this bad.
No.
So, it's crazy. But, I was my dad had said this when all this happened with the election and everything and things were getting so bad. My dad said, this might be meant to be. He said, we have to be patient.
Yeah.
And he said, Biden is going to be so bad that it is going to change the whole government.
No one figured how bad, though.
Because he is. I think we did.
This
on,
bad?
and our listeners.
This bad?
We talked about it. It's going to be horrible.
$10 gas in California?
Yes. Trump knew. He told everybody.
Yeah.
He warned everybody for months. And my mom was here today. She showed me her IRA. Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to tell you how much money she's lost. And I said, just hang in there, Mom. But, man, she's pissed. Of course, she voted for Trump. But I'm sure it's happening all around the world.
It is happening
like crazy.
It is happening all over the world. I mean, think about what's happened here. The Taliban, I know people say, it wasn't the Taliban, it was Al-Qaeda. They were in league with them. The people that brought down the World Trade Center, Biden gave them Afghanistan with an army and an air force. Yeah. Okay? This whole thing in Ukraine happened because the reason Russia's getting whipped bad by Ukraine because they went in unprepared. The reason they went in unprepared
and Putin's really sick.
It's not that. Well, no. When Putin saw the failure in Afghanistan, he says, we better move now.
Yes.
Because America will never be this weak. And even though they weren't ready, they went in. So this war in Ukraine is Biden's fault. It's inspired by Biden's incompetence.
He wouldn't have attacked if it wasn't for Trump. I mean, if Trump was in office.
If Biden wouldn't have botched the Afghan withdrawal, this wouldn't have happened. This is all Biden's fault.
I agree.
And everyone knows it. And the prices of items that we're seeing now and shortages, the price, there's a lot of talk of this tampon shortage. And I know a lot of people are saying, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, that they're putting tampons in the men's rooms, and that's well, what I came to find out was this, that cotton. I did not know this. It seems so bizarre, but the United States imports cotton, and cotton is used for tampons and maxi pads and things. And there's a cotton shortage, and also the price of cotton is going up because of the fertilizer that they have farmed off to Russia. And we get our fertilizer from Ukraine and Russia and all this business. Fertilizer price is up like 400% right now. So a lot of manufacturers are slowing down production because they can't afford it or it's not profitable. And I mean, we're going to get to a point where there's even going to be a shortage of clothing because so much clothing is made out of cotton. This country has been through world wars and conflicts since its founding, and there have never been shortages like this, except like in the South during the Civil War.
Maybe during World War II. They had to ration.
A lot of the rationing during World War II was imposed by the government so that the people felt like they were part of the war effort and they was a sacrifice. There was some necessary rationing, I get it, but a lot of that was propaganda. There have not been shortages, and a lot of people talk about the Jimmy Carter gas lines. Okay, I was a kid, okay, but I remember that era.
I do too,
and it was not as bad as this. I remember,
and there was rising inflation too.
I remember my grandfather telling me, this was during Jimmy Carter when the gas, problem was happening. And they were talking about letting you only buy gas on certain days of the week. That never happened. Okay? This is worse than that because the gas is unaffordable. And I saw today Biden said he's asking the oil companies what they can do to bring down the price. It's what he's done. He came in and said, we're going to end fossil fuels. He ran on that.
Yep.
He shut down the pipeline. He shut down Anwar. And that's it, and
there is no reason why this country cannot be completely independent.
We have all
the Trump. Right. We have all the resources we need. We can open up factories, put people back to work. Trump, what he did in such a short time was so amazing. He got factories to be built here. Now, a lot of those factories are going back to Mexico, but he got factories to come here. He got people working again. He had us producing our own oil. Gas prices, they showed on the news when 18 months ago, gas has in 18 months, a year and a half, has doubled.
Yeah.
In 1 year
100%.
and a half, it has
Yeah,
doubled.
that's right.
They showed on the news it was 18 months ago, it was like 250.
That was the national average.
National average, 245. And now it's like 5.
Well,
it's more than
and
double.
remember, I paid $1.59 a gallon on Inauguration Day when I went to see Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
What's it going to be like in 6 months?
I'm scared. You know,
I mean, it's going so high so fast.
You know, we had that tropical storm that was really a dud, thankfully so, a couple weeks ago here in Florida, and I loaded up on gas for the generator.
Yeah.
And I've been, you know, because we have a generator and I have these 5-gallon jugs. I've been putting that gas in our cars. I filled up my my scooter that I'm going to take to work tomorrow. I just filled that up with it. So I haven't had to go to the gas station really too much in the last couple of weeks because I got all our tropical storm gas that I've been using.
Which was probably like 50 cents less.
More. It was about $1 less, some of it. I mean, it was.
It's
I'm looking
really
at these,
skyrocketed.
Yeah, and there's no end in sight.
They don't care.
And here's Biden going to Saudi Arabia. This country, under President Trump, was the #1 producer of oil in the world.
You know what, though? And this is the point my dad was making. We have to suffer now, but it'll all be worth it. Just hang in there because what we're going through, we're all going through it together, and it unites people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be so bad that it will change the country for the better.
Yeah.
In the long run. And sometimes you have to go through these periods so people can see what the alternative is and how things were so much better under the Republicans. You know what I mean? They have to see, like, look what we got after Jimmy Carter. We got Ronald Reagan. We got 8 years of him, and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was a direct if Jimmy Carter did a great job, Reagan might not have won, but he was so bad, it was a landslide victory. I mean, I think Carter won one state, Georgia. I think that's it. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it was like a huge victory. I mean, but sometimes these things have to happen because it will change the direction and the course of the country as a reaction to what's happening. So hang in there. I know it's difficult, but in the end, we're already winning. I mean, they already overturned this seat in Congress that had been a blue seat forever, for decades, and this Mexican-American Trump-backed woman overturned it. They got this rhino out who was one of the 10 that voted to impeach Trump. He's gone. He is changing the structure of the government right now, and he's thinking long term. And what he's doing is laying the groundwork for when he runs again. He wants people in Washington that are going to work with him and they're going to help him. And believe me, he's on a winning streak.
Oh, yeah.
And we just have to hang in there because all of this that's happening that's so horrible, it's going to benefit us. Okay? If Biden was doing a great job, do you think that all these seats would be overturning? So this is useful to Trump. It's useful to us. We just have to hang in there because the reaction to this horrible inflation is going to be good for the country in the long run. No doubt about it. So
now I want to tell everyone there are a whole bunch of new products at MyPillow.com in the footwear category. Now, we've been talking quite a while about the MyPillow My Slippers. I have these. And Mike Lindell has, for both men and women, all season slippers.
Yeah, they're very nice.
And they're really not slippers. They're called slippers. But they have a whole bunch of new colors that they haven't had before, and they're made of leather. So they're soft leather, like if you bought leather shoes, as opposed to the clothy kind of leather that the previous ones. Now the My Slippers that have been available previously, which are still available, are like lined with fur, fur lined. These are not fur lined. These are meant for all day wear everywhere. You've got to go and check them out. They are beautiful. And I want to get, Kathy, the all-season men's slip-ons.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to get a pair too.
And these are great for working around the house, doing yard work in.
Yeah, they are. You can wear those anywhere.
Yeah,
really.
just if I have to go to the store real quick at night, I can just slide those on. And let me go through these. And there's a bunch of new colors. They have wide width is now available in them. Okay, so listen to this. They're made of 4 layers. Okay, layer 1 is the MyPillow patented fill. They took the MyPillow patented foam, which we have in our mattress topper and our pillows and everything, and created a solid layer to provide incredible comfort. Layer 2 is Comfort Memory Foam. This layer of Comfort Memory Foam provides that micro comfort and support so you can wear them all day long. And layer 3 is the patented MyPillow Impact Gel, which gives you absorption that relieves pressure points. And the sole is made for indoor and outdoor use all day long. Go to mypillow.com. These are $90 off, as are the Furline slippers. But these new shoes are $90 off. His other thing is he has, in a whole bunch of new colors too, he has women's sandals and men's sandals. And he has sandals that have the thong sandals, like flip-flops that go through the little thong thing that goes between the toes.
Yeah, like flip-flops.
And he also has what they call MyPillow slide sandals, where it has a thing that covers the whole top of your foot area. And I'd like to have a pair of these sandals, the slide sandals, to wear around the house and to the beach and everything. And there's also a great deal on those with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE. You can take advantage of all these deals. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, take advantage of these deals, and remember, you're supporting the great Mike Lindell and everything that he's doing, and you're also supporting this podcast and all the content I bring to you, which includes my YouTube channel and the Steve Kane Radio Show and everything else, when you use our promo code KANE, KANE, at checkout. We're going to take a quick break. Come back. There's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this.
From author Sheila R. Wiley comes your next must-read book, Lightness and Darkness Cannot Mix. Being involved in a toxic relationship can strip you of living a bound-free life. In Lightness and Darkness Cannot Mix, author Sheila R. Wiley will show readers how trauma transformed her entire life from lightness to darkness. She let her guards down and came face-to-face with the devil. She went from one state of mind to another in a traumatic spiritual battle. Cultivating her relationship with God allowed another chance at the thing called life. By the power and authority of God, he once again showed himself strong and defeated the devil. We can all go through trials and tribulations, but remember the scripture, 1 John 4:4. Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. When you live a life for Jesus Christ, trials and tribulations come. Try not to allow Satan to trick you into thinking that he wins, because he doesn't. Even though you may have fallen, you can get back up, more vital, and with more power with God's help. Order your copy of Lightness and Darkness Cannot Mix from author Sheila R. Wiley. Available on XylenPress.com. That's XULON Press.com.
I felt what felt like a hand on my bare leg. We were both on the 10th floor of this hotel, and the ride down to the lobby would feel like an eternity. I then heard what sounded like an object being thrown across the room. I'm leaving my old life behind, and I need you to help me. I was worried that there was a chance that he could snap, and it would mean the safety of myself and everyone on board the plane as well. Like a radio drama, your shocking, life-changing, or even hilarious stories of travel misadventure are brought to life. Misadventure? That adventure. Listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
There are those who were born into loving families, and then there are the less fortunate who must forge their own families through strong friendships. From author Karen S. Bell comes the book Like a Lily Among the Thorns, available on Amazon. Abandoned by her father as a young girl, and now orphaned by her deranged mother, Gabby longs for a family connection. She finds this connection at the same time she inherits a B&B in Vermont from her estranged and now deceased father. This enchanted inn is under the watchful eye of goddesses of myth and legend, who have been tasked to save mankind from destroying itself and the planet. These goddesses will use their powers to try and stall the onslaught of the effects of droughts, floods, and rising temperatures. But as a safety net, they have collected human saviors all over the planet to erect safe havens at high altitudes, away from floodwaters and blistering temperatures. Woven through this tale is Gabrielle's inherent understanding that she must be grateful, mindful, and present in this journey called life. Order your copy of Like a Lily Among the Thorns from author Karen S. Bell. Available on Amazon in both Kindle and paperback.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. You know, by the way, follow me on Truth Social at Real Brian Craig if you don't. You know, people that are not active on Truth Social, I don't think they realize President Trump is talking to us all on Truth Social, just like the old days of Twitter with President Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And he's commenting on everything.
All the time. And he just truthed. His latest truth is, this is what he says. Same thing's going to happen in Wyoming to Virginia resident Liz Cheney that happened in South Carolina to Congressman impeach master Tom Rice, who lost as an incumbent by 28 points. To me, she's nothing less than a war criminal who has done a terrible job for the great state of Wyoming. So she definitely will be out of a job.
You know, Liz Cheney.
I hope it was worth it, Liz.
Yeah, Liz, well, she'll always be taking care of Ava Braun there because her dad's Dick Cheney, the war criminal. So they'll always take care of her. She'll go head up her dad's company or something, you know. But
she's humiliated.
Liz Cheney is humiliated, and she's going to go down in history as a bitter, petty lunatic.
Well,
she's not going to be remembered well.
This is a perfect example of somebody with Trump derangement syndrome who allowed it to completely encompass their life and destroy their life. And she will probably be talking about Trump on her deathbed.
Well, you know,
this is an obsessed woman.
I don't think a lot of people understand what Trump derangement syndrome is about. You know, Liz Cheney is one of these legacy people. All of the establishment politicians in both parties are corrupt like Biden and the Clintons, just at different levels of success. And when an outsider comes in like Trump, all their dirty deals get cut off. And that's why they're in this for survival, because it's their whole business and how they make you think these people don't live in mansions because they dedicate their life to public service.
That's for sure.
You know,
no, they enrich themselves.
Think about it. Joe Biden got elected to his first government job when he was right out of law school. He got elected, and then he went to the Senate when he was like 30. And how does a guy that's been in the Senate all these years have so many houses and so much financial? Because they're corrupt. Just like the Clintons.
That's right.
Well, it's just like when Bill Clinton left the White House and they had that Clinton Foundation. And he was doing speaking engagements. And before she was back in government, you know, people were, why are they paying them $200,000 for speaking engagements? Because they were paying off Hillary and her Senate job or Secretary of State through huge speaking
like
fees.
Like Hunter's art.
Yeah, like
Hunter's art.
Yes, Bill Clinton's speaking was like Hunter's art. Yeah. And I'm sure Bill has said, golly, I just should have started painting. I could have sold the paint. That's what the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, maybe like George W. Bush.
Exactly.
He paints too.
Yeah. Yeah, not very well.
It's a thing they got going here.
Yeah, and Trump's a threat to that. And if what's going to happen, we're all going to be very grateful when it's over that President Trump had 2 non-consecutive terms, because things are so bad and they're going to get worse. He's going to have a complete mandate. Now, I just saw on Fox, and I'm not sure this is that I believe this, because Fox hates Trump. But I want to throw this out to you guys that listen to this program who live in Pennsylvania, because I know we have a lot of people in Pennsylvania who listen to this program. There's a new poll out on Fox that Dr. Oz is behind the Democrats in the poll. He's running against this.
How far behind?
Okay. I didn't read the story. I just saw the headline. Let me read it. Pennsylvania Senate candidate Dr. Oz. Let's see here. A new poll released showed Pennsylvania's Democrat lieutenant governor with a lead over Oz. The poll was conducted June 10 through the 13th. It showed Pennsylvania voters overwhelmingly disapprove of Biden's job performance. Only 15% rated the state of the U.S. economy as good. Fetterman and Oz are running for the Toomey seat.
And Fetterman's a big liberal.
Oh, yeah. He's a communist. Okay, according to the poll, 46% of likely voters in Pennsylvania said they would support Fetterman to represent the state, while 37% said they would vote for Oz. 13% said they were undecided.
Well, a lot can change between now and November.
Let me tell you, I find that impossible to believe that with the state of the economy, people would vote in a state like this that's getting hit so hard, Pennsylvania, for the party to remain in the majority in Congress that is responsible for our suffering. Now, I just want to mention, it's the summer. And here in Florida, the kids are out of school. And Kathy and I, all the time, there is a live camera on the beach by our house. And it's on YouTube. And we have it on all the time. And it's really nice. And it's a beautiful beach camera. It's also the beach.
There's a pier. It's very nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of beaches here. But this particular beach.
Delray Beach Cam. Deerfield
Beach Cam.
Sorry, Deerfield
yeah, not Delray.
Beach.
Yeah, it's Deerfield
Beach Cam.
There's other beaches that are close to our house, but this beach is my favorite beach near our house
nice.
For a couple of reasons. That's the very first beach I ever went to when I was 5 years old, the first time I came to Florida.
Yeah.
And they've got this beautiful pier, and they have a very good live camera.
They do.
And
they have an underwater cam too.
Yeah, they have an underwater camera. You can see fish and things out there.
Cool.
But they have a beach cam, and we have it on all the time because it's one of the two major beaches closest to our house, and it's just nice to see, And
if you turn up the volume, you can hear the ocean.
Yeah, they have
it's got
sound.
a good sound, good audio.
And sometimes I don't do this too often, but if I head to the radio station a little early, I'll drive over to the beach and do a live stream on one of my platforms, maybe sometimes just social media, and it's dark, but you can hear the ocean waves and see the pier. It's pretty cool. And it's about a mile, maybe 2 miles from the radio station studio, this particular beach. But anyway, the reason I bring this up, it's a very interesting thing because Kathy and I grew up in Florida. I moved to Florida when I was 11. Kathy's born and raised in Florida. And Kathy and I went to I don't know, kind of like rival high school. We didn't go to the same high school, but we went to high schools that were really close to each other's.
Our high schools played each other for homecoming. So, we played each other many times. We played football, but we did do a homecoming when I was in 10th grade because I was in charge of the float, and we were playing the Dragons, the Stranahan Dragons.
That was my school.
And we actually rented a dragon costume and put it on a leash for the float.
Yeah.
And that's how I remember that. You were probably at that game with me.
Kathy and I went to two different high schools in the same area in the Fort Lauderdale area. And Kathy and I, we didn't know each other then. Kathy's a year older than me. Yeah. We didn't know each other then.
No.
But we grew up going to the same places and knew a lot of the same people.
Right.
Even though we didn't know each other. But we spent our spring breaks and our summers at the beach. And that's what high school kids do in Florida.
Especially Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and I remember on our last radio listener cruise, which, by the way, Steve Kane and I have another one coming up in January that you're all invited on. But Steve Kane and I, when we left on that cruise, we had a sail-away party on the bow of the ship on our last cruise, and we left out of Fort Lauderdale, and everybody was out there. And I said, yeah, when I was in high school, I went to high school like right down the street from that beach. I used to go to lunch at that beach every day when I was in high school. They're like, really? It's like paradise. So anyway, the reason I'm sharing this, there's a reason why. We always have the beach camera on day and night. It's on YouTube, the Deerfield Beach Cam, and we have it on all the time. So, but now the kids are out of school. It's filled with high school kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Usually it's not that crowded. You can see the ocean and it's nice.
Yeah. And I've noticed something about the high school kids, right? I'm not seeing any transgendered high school kids at the beach. I'm not seeing same-sex couples. I've seen actual heterosexual high school kids making out on the beach I saw yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So what we're seeing through the libs of TikTok, the entire teenage generation are not gay or transgendered. There's a lot of
That's just what makes the news.
Yeah, there's a lot of heterosexuality still going on out there, so there's hope for us.
I want to say there's hope for the human race.
I was worried about our civilization not reproducing.
I know. I want to say one thing we were talking about, the net worth of politicians, and this just came out in Business Insider. How much do you think Ron DeSantis is worth?
I have no idea.
Take a guess.
Ron DeSantis? I'm just going to take a guess, and this is not a fair guess because a couple years back when he ran for governor the first time, around that time I read an article about it, so I'm going to give a guess that's an oddball number, okay? And it may be close or it may be way off.
Okay.
I'm going to say $7 million.
300,000.
Get out of town.
Yep.
With Ron DeSantis?
With 319,000 of net worth. Ron DeSantis is the anti-Trump. This is the headline.
His net worth does that include his house?
Yeah, he does not own property.
He does not own a home?
And he does not own stocks, and he still has student debt, $21,000.
Get out of town.
Yep,
Ron
he just released
DeSantis?
his financials. He's a normal guy.
What's the governor make of Florida?
He's 43 years old. He has a net worth of $318,986.99, according to his financial disclosure last week. He doesn't own stocks, still has $21,284.92 in student loans, and does not own property.
Does it say what the governor of Florida earns in a salary?
No, but I would guess, a couple $100,000.
300,000.
That's it. But his wife was a news anchor. But that's it. They're
you know what?
They're normal people.
You know what?
They don't even own property. Biden owns all these beaches, houses, and Bernie Sanders.
You know what?
Bernie Sanders owns 4 beach homes, and Ron DeSantis
and a summer camp.
And Ron DeSantis owns 0 property. That is amazing to me. And doesn't even have a $500,000.
I think
in the bank.
when I came with that $7 million, I think I was thinking about Matt Gaetz. That's amazing.
He's the real
He
deal.
has student loans still.
Yep.
At age 43.
He's $21,000 in student loans. He's
Still.
$300,000. Yep.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Well,
Does not even own property, not even one house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
President Eisenhower did not own a house until after he was president. Truman didn't own a house.
He might have owned a house when he was a congressman, but maybe they sold it when he became
I think they
governor.
maybe. I don't think so. I bet they rented because they were up in Washington, and they don't make enough money to have 2 residences.
This is not a guy on the take.
I'm in shock.
This is an honest
I
man.
am in complete shock.
But liberals will tell you how dishonest he is and this and that. Meanwhile, Bernie and Biden have multiple multi-million-dollar homes, and they're all public servants. And he's not new to politics.
Insane.
He was a congressman for a while. The guy's Harvard educated. He's an Ivy League. He's a JAG
he
lawyer.
could be a millionaire. He could be. He's got an Ivy League education.
He could be, but he's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even worth $1 million. He's not even worth $500,000. Our house is worth more than what he's worth. We could sell our house and have more money than Ron DeSantis. Is that not nuts?
Yeah. Well, because prices in Florida are so inflated right now.
Exactly. But I'm just saying.
It's not. I don't want
literally,
you. I don't want
right
people,
now in this housing market.
I don't want. I don't want
from now.
I don't want people to think Kathy and I live in a palace.
No,
we live in
our house is worth double what we paid for.
Yeah, our house
more
is 1,500 square feet, and that includes the garage.
Not even. It's like 1,300.
Yeah, including the garage.
Yeah, we don't have a big house, but it's definitely worth a lot now.
But property values are through the roof. Our house is worth a lot.
Yeah, but we could sell our house and literally be worth more than him.
Yeah,
that's amazing to me.
That's enough reason to support Ron DeSantis
that shows
right
you
there.
What an honest man he is. Really, he's 43 years old. I mean, he's been in Congress, has plenty of time to make some money, and he probably doesn't even own a car.
Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that.
No, they get driven everywhere. He's always traveling. I don't think he has time to drive.
That tells me
his wife might have.
That tells me that this inflation, he understands it, right? Because it's impacting his life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, he's a normal guy. He's more relatable, I think. Well, of course, Trump's worth billions, and he's relatable.
But you know what?
So
the left,
I don't know if that's always
the left. Their guys are always rich. Richard Nixon wasn't a wealthy man, and he was later in life, a little bit after he was president. But his time in public life, he was like Ron DeSantis, and look how they villainized him.
You got John Kerry, who's the climate czar, flying around on private jets. You got Bernie Sanders, the communist, who owns 5 beach homes. You got Biden, who is supposed to be man of the people, who lives in a multi-million-dollar beach house, goes there every weekend. You know how much that costs? I know he goes there every weekend because one of our listeners lives in Delaware near him, and she said the highways are closed every Friday and Sunday, and they hate his guts because he closes all the highways. You know how much it costs for him to go to Delaware? How much we pay for that? And, I remember they gave Trump a hard time for golfing and going to Mar-a-Lago. Biden literally goes to Delaware every weekend, and we pay for that. But you don't hear about that in the press.
Well, let me tell you.
And DeSantis works his ass off and isn't even worth $500,000.
This story about Ron DeSantis is huge. I am in shock.
Yeah, he's a normal guy.
Wow.
He's not corrupt.
Well, if he doesn't own a house, where's the $300,000? Where's that money? He has that much money lying around?
I guess he doesn't own stocks, so maybe him and his wife just put that in the bank. Just save.
I don't know.
Maybe they're just really good at saving money.
Well, that goes to his credit. Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support, and it does make this show possible, and it is very helpful, our Patreon supporters out there, and we want to thank you all. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there are perks to that. You get a commercial-free edition of each and every podcast episode, and also I do put up from time to time exclusive content for Patreon supporters. When I make vlogs, because I make vlogs from time to time. You guys have seen them. I walked to Mar-a-Lago recently, and the Confederate Cemetery were a couple of recent ones. I make them available to the Patreon supporters before anyone else. You get it. And plus, on occasion, Kathy and I will do a podcast episode just for Patreon support. So there is exclusive content that we do offer our Patreon supporters. And one of those perks, our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, Wesley, Dee, Pamela, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode, and you go there and it'll walk you through the whole thing. Well, guys, we're all out of time, but thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Craig. Always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.
Now available on Amazon, The Dragon Flyers, Land of the Giants. This is the third book from author Cynthia Starr's exciting trilogy of dragons and their brave child mortals. It features nonstop, heart-pounding action and a secret world known only to true dragon believers. After the Dragon Flyers' hard-won victory, David thought their battle with the evil Night Riders was over. Turns out, it had only just begun. With new team members, cool new gear, and new companions, David and the other Flyers head to an incredible world that's as beautiful as it is treacherous. They must evade the dangers that lurk around every corner and stay one step ahead of the evil Night Riders. When his trusty team is pulled in all directions, David must overcome his lingering fears to help them succeed. Can he be the brave young man his father always envisioned? Find out when you read The Dragon Flyers, Land of the Giants. The Dragon Flyers is an adrenaline-pumping and thought-provoking series for young readers, perfect for ages 7 to 12. Order your copy right now. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon. The Dragon Flyers, Land of the Giants, from author Cynthia Starr.